Good morning, everyone. This is Paul Watzlawick from the EAP Media Hub here in Tokyo. We're delighted this morning to have USAID Administrator Rajiv Shah with us. He's in Rangoon, Burma. I'd like to open up this morning with inviting Administrator Shah to make brief opening remarks, and then we will take your questions. I would remind you to please press the queuing button *91 on your phone, and that will cue you to ask a question, and then we'll get you in the order that you've lined up. So, Administrator Shah, thank you this morning for being with us, and please go ahead.
Thank you, Paul, and good morning, everyone. I am excited to be here, and I would note that this is my second visit in about 2 years to this country. And we are excited about the fact that President Obama, when he had the chance to visit here, launched a very concrete and specific partnership designed to deepen and encourage the democratic transition that is taking place in this environment, and to support and accelerate the implementation of critical reforms that will bring greater transparency, rule of law, level the playing field, and expand the reality of basic freedoms and human rights to all of the people of this country. In partnership, President Obama announced that we would open a USAID mission here and accelerate our own investments to help the people of this country realize the true benefits of democracy, transparency, and growth, which are concrete improvements in their day-to-day lives. And I'm pleased to announce this morning that we have fulfilled, even gone beyond the initial commitments that President Obama made when he was here, and that USAID is delivering on the commitments I made during my last visit approximately 1 year ago. Our efforts here incorporate the unique assets and capabilities of the United States, in particular bringing innovative new public-private partnerships with U.S. businesses, universities, and research centers to support the development, health, and human efforts that are taking place on the ground. Just yesterday, I had the chance to launch a number of new partnerships, including one with the International Fertilizer Development Corporation, an Alabama-based company and nonprofit organization that will help tens of thousands of farmers in this country improve their production of rice, lower the environmental impact of fertilizer use, and most importantly, increase their incomes so they can send their kids to school and improve their family's nutrition. I had the chance, together with senior executives from Procter & Gamble, to launch a new partnership that will reach 100,000 children with improved clean water access to reduce the rate of diarrheal disease and to allow for children to not suffer from dying needlessly of basic diseases because they don't have access to clean water. I had the chance to visit with some of the nearly 45 students that are now a part of a USAID Cisco Network Academy, in which young students at the university here have the opportunity to learn basic information and communications technologies, training, and skills so that they can be high-value participants in a modern global economy. And together with partners from Hewlett-Packard, we saw that the recent launch of HP Life, an effort to accelerate the connectivity between young people in this country and the global ICT industry around the world. These are just some concrete examples of what we've been able to do together. We also have reviewed and will continue to work with civil society organizations here in this country. As I did last time, I always meet with them because we believe that the capacity of those leaders to usher in and ensure that the pathway to reform is transparent and inclusive, free from discrimination, and unlocking the real human potential of all people is what is in our shared and mutual interest. And so I'm pleased to be able to make this visit. I'm doing so because this is a critical time in which the government can continue to accelerate reforms, where civil society can continue to work to ensure that the path that's been charted out, in fact, brings democracy, but also transparency and freedom from discrimination to all of the people of this country. And it's a time when, as President Obama committed 2 years ago and as we're delivering today, USAID has been able to work with literally dozens of outstanding American companies and bring real, concrete benefits to the people of this nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Administrator Shah. As I mentioned, we have a number of journalists from around the region on the line. Again, if you want to ask a question, please press 9-1 on your telephone handset. You'll be registered in the queue. 9-1. We'll start this morning, sir, with the Taipei Press Club. There are a number of publications gathered there, and so we'll go to them for the first question. Taipei, please state your question clearly, and if you could, your affiliation, your media outlet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm Joseph Ye from the China Post in Taipei. Administrator, during your previous visit to Taipei in September 2011, you said you would like to see further bilateral cooperation between U.S. and Taiwan in three major areas: humanitarian assistance, food security, and health issues. So what are some projects have been done so far on these areas between Taipei and the U.S. since then? Thank you.
Thank you. My visit to Taipei was intended to celebrate more than 50 years of partnership at that time, and to note that, like so many countries, and like the one that I'm in right now, initially, American and USAID's engagement in Taipei was related to significant amounts of humanitarian aid and support. But, of course, over time, it has evolved to prioritize trade and economic development in a way that creates jobs in the United States and around the world. And in many ways, that's the successful path that we hope to see right here in the country that I'm in, where if we continue down a transparent set of reforms, and if democracy and rule of law and respect for rights of all people are honored, we are already seeing that American businesses, American universities, American civil society organizations, American young people want to partner with the people here and engage in long-term partnerships that can be mutually beneficial. And that's why the concrete results that I was describing are so important, and it's why I'm here to accelerate our partnerships in areas like agriculture. With respect to some of the mutual cooperative efforts we've tried to pursue in Taipei, we continue to work with you to help that organizations there be a part of international humanitarian relief efforts around the world, and we believe that more countries and more organizations should be part of those international efforts, respect basic international humanitarian norms, ensure access, and help out neighbors when disasters strike.
Thank you, Administrator Shah. Our next question comes from here in Tokyo, NHK Broadcasting. Caller, could you please state your name clearly for Administrator Shah and your question? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shin Kashima from Japanese Broadcasting Corporation NHK. I'd like to ask you one question regarding on the cooperation between USAID and Japanese government. I know that there was a senior level meeting in Washington last week, and I think two countries have decided to cooperate more with in the field of ODA. And I'd like to ask you, how do you think about the cooperation with Japan, and do you have any specific plan for starting a new cooperation under the agreement with Vice President Biden and President Abe?
Thank you. As Vice President Biden noted when he made his important visit, and as Ambassador John Kennedy has also articulated, we believe our longstanding partnerships with Japan around the region and around the world are critically important to helping to eliminate extreme poverty. And so the Vice President Biden announced that the United States and the development partners in Japan, including the JICA, the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, will work more closely together in some specific areas of work, including agriculture and food security, power and energy infrastructure, clean energy infrastructure, and health, to accomplish goals like ensuring children don't die of simple diseases, or helping agricultural economies improve their productivity, and in doing so help move farmers in particular out of poverty. We're seeing that those areas of work are critically important to our program right here, where yesterday I was able to note that just in the last 2 years, USAID has opened more than 130 farm service centers, already reaching rural farmers and helping them improve their incomes and send their kids to school and improve nutrition. I was able to note that USAID has already, in just the last 2 years, supported 1,500 doctors in every district throughout the nation to help medical care reach those in critical need. And when President Obama was here visiting 2 years ago, he said that we're going to move quickly to deliver real concrete results. And we've done that. And that's the kind of spirit that we hope will infuse our partnerships with other developmental partners as well.
Thank you, Minister Shah. I would remind our callers again, if you have a question, please press 9-1 on your handset, 9-1 to be registered in the queue. Minister Shah, we had an online question regarding the development in the Philippines and the aftermath of the recent typhoon. The question is, can you please describe the ongoing efforts in the Philippines and what the U.S. is doing to help other countries in the region that are prone to disaster relief prepare for such disasters? Thank you.
Sure. Well, as President Obama has noted, the United States was and continues to be proud to have been a leader in the international effort to support the people of the Philippines during the tragic typhoon. And we know that so many people lost their homes and lives and businesses. There's three things I'd note about that. First is American partnership with the Filipino authorities have allowed them to have their own disaster management system in place, and our sharing of satellite data and imaging information allowed them to evacuate 700,000 people from danger zones before the calamity took place. Second, we've mounted a major international relief effort, spending more than $200 million in reaching nearly every affected community on the ground between American civilian, humanitarian, and military assets that were deployed in a large-scale relief effort. And third, today the priority is working with businesses, particularly local businesses, to restart health systems, the food and agricultural economy, the energy system, and a lot of the rapid gains that have been made in standing up energy access for affected communities, for example, have come out of innovative public-private partnerships between USAID and local and international energy companies. So that's kind of the approach that we've taken there, and we're going to be very committed, as Secretary Kerry noted on his recent visit, to being a partner for the long term, not just the short one. Throughout the region, we have focused on disaster risk reduction, and I just came back from Nepal, where we have helped literally thousands of the physical structures in Kathmandu improve their earthquake readiness so that if a disaster were to strike, fewer people would be hurt and fewer lives would be lost. We also have engaged in significant climate assessments throughout the region to identify those communities around the region that would suffer from the effects of climate change, like increased floods or erratic weather events. And we work with scientists and agricultural organizations and water and so many other experts to help countries be more resilient in the face of core climate change. And that's been a big priority for our engagements in Asia.
Thank you, Mr. Shah. We have another online question, sir. This is a question about U.S. cooperation with China on development projects. The question is, how is the U.S. cooperating with China to promote development in Southeast Asia and other areas of the world? Thank you.
Well, I would just note that a number of years ago, Secretary Hillary Clinton made the developmental partnership a part of the U.S.-China strategic and economic dialogue. And through that effort, USAID has been engaging in discussion and dialogue with our Chinese counterparts so that as we work in countries in Africa or throughout Asia, we have a clearer understanding of what each country is doing. And that partnership starts with a commitment to transparency and information sharing. It then includes a desire to work with all parts of society, including civil society and local businesses. And it firmly, the focus of our dialogue has been making sure that U.S. and Chinese developmental engagements, whether they are commercial or public sector, have real measurable benefits for the countries and peoples in which we're working. And so we'll continue to have that discussion. We continue to look for opportunities to partner together, and we believe that it's the responsibility of emerging nations and large economies to partner with other lower income economies in a manner that is transparent, clear, abides by international norms and standards, and ultimately helps reduce poverty in many other parts of the world.
Thank you, Mr. Shah. Again, reminding our callers that are on the line, 9-1 registers you in the queue for a question. Mr. Shah, we have a number of journalists on the line from Vietnam, and we may be having a connectivity problem because you haven't been able to register their questions, but I would ask you, could you please describe a bit USAID's work in Vietnam and what types of opportunities there is for further cooperation? I know we had that question previously on a call. Thank you.
Well, our partnership in Vietnam is emblematic of our partnerships throughout the region. And it starts with first supporting efforts to improve governance and economic integration into the regional economy. And so Vietnam, Burma, so many other places where we work are part of an initiative we call the Lower Mekong Initiative, LMI, which is focused on bringing countries together to tackle regional problems. And those can include how water access is managed, how energy is produced, how malaria is addressed, and I know that many of the nations are focused on addressing drug-resistant malaria, for example, to contain that problem inside of this region and ensure it doesn't spread. Specifically in Vietnam, Secretary Kerry was just there and highlighted important U.S. partnerships with Vietnamese civil society. He also highlighted our investments in health that have helped reduce the rate of under 5-child mortality by more than 50%. He highlighted our partnerships in agriculture that have helped Vietnam become a major rice economy that is trading and exporting rice, which has been a huge gain and one that we think we can experience right here if the union government continues to make the right reforms and if partners and private businesses invest. So that characterizes a bit of what we're doing in Vietnam, but our commitments throughout Asia have been accelerated under President Obama, Secretary Kerry, and Secretary Clinton, and are very much designed to allow countries to be more capable of tackling some of these challenges in health, in agriculture, and in support for civil society.
Thank you, Minister Shah. We have a couple minutes left. I wanted to ask you, as a wrap-up, if you could go into just briefly a little bit more the U.S. efforts in Burma. I know you're there this week, and it would be very helpful, I think, for those of us in the region to hear a little bit more about the extensive efforts that we're making in that country. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that, and I would just highlight that our efforts here are designed to accelerate and deepen the reforms that are underway to ensure that a pathway to democracy leads to real concrete improvements in the lives of the people here, and to make sure that basic, humanitarian access and standards are maintained for all people, regardless of religious background or ethnic background. And to that end, the United States made, when President Obama was here, very significant commitments to bring American businesses to this nation, to accelerate our own investments in health and agriculture and humanitarian affairs in order to reach those who suffer from poverty and high rates of child death that are unnecessary. And we've delivered on that. We've been able to reach hundreds of thousands of families so that the health of their children can be improved. Just yesterday, I announced a new expanded effort in agriculture that will help this nation increase its rice production by 30%, double the production of high-value crops, and reach more than 300,000 farm households with real benefits that will help them move from subsistence poverty to commercial activity, and will help nearly 2 million people move out of poverty in just 3 years. And those kinds of efforts, I think, are the concrete, real manifestations of American partnership that we believe are critical to success, and so we'll continue to expand those engagements as the reforms deepen and take hold.
Thank you, Administrator Shah. For those of you on the line, we will make an audio recording available of the entire session shortly after we conclude. I wanted to thank you, Administrator, for taking time today to be with us. I wanted to thank our 28 media outlets on the line today from 8 different countries. We look forward to reading and seeing what reports you produce out of this teleconference, and thank you again for the participation, and we'll keep you apprised of further opportunities. Thank you again, Administrator Shah.